Hello there and welcome all. This is a brand new edition of 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside me is Albert Cita and Guillermo Cita. The trio's back together. Guillermo was away last weekend in Vegas.
Did you see my heart?
I don't know why.
Oh my God. Well, mine is the heart.
That's how we're gonna
It's
come
a
back.
soccer
That's
thing.
how we're
It's
gonna
a
come
soccer
back.
It's a soccer thing? I haven't seen
Yeah,
it
when you
before.
score a goal, my team won, so it's an appreciation of my soccer team that won
okay.
5-2 yesterday.
So along with soccer games and hearts, we got we're talking about the UFC fight night. Bigfoot Silva versus Arlovski.
Yeah, see, I did it for Arlovski too, bro.
I want to delve more into the heavyweight division.
Please don't leave out Bellator. There's also World Series of Fight 'em. Bama had a card this recently. And Mayweather.
All I know is I heard a lot of text messages from Albert about Emmanuel Newton. Newton.
But I'm just saying, there's a lot going on, but not really.
Yeah, so we got
let's say that.
Bellator, Nick Diaz, Tough 20, Tyron Woodley, and I think one of our favorite lightweights, Khabib Nurmagomedov. News about him. But again, you were in Vegas last week, all partying, so leaving us behind, man. So what's up with that?
Hey, I just didn't get reception. I was trying to call into the show, so I'd be part of it. There was a bad thunderstorm or severe weather. We got severe weather the whole way home. We got stuck in 6-hour traffic. There was a haboob, which is a dust storm.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the storm is called. And then plus lightning striking everywhere,
Wow.
so it cut off my service.
So it wasn't all play with you, right? You were doing some deals for us while you were in Vegas,
Yeah.
right? So what'd you do for us? Is it true we got a new clothing sponsor potentially?
Or potentially, I'm talking with 5 Rounds Clothing Inc. I have their website, 5rounds.clothing.com, and then their Twitter handle at 5roundswear, and then their Instagram is at 5rounds_.
So hopefully get some do some contests and giveaways.
Just because you didn't hear my sexy voice doesn't mean I'm not doing stuff behind the scenes.
All right, so let's get down to the meat and potatoes of this today's show. I want to start off with the first segment, news and notes. Biggest news of the week, I think, so far was Nick Diaz being arrested for suspicion of DWI or DUI or one of the two.
DUI.
Yeah. So
did you guys read the whole story though?
No, what's the whole story?
That he asked the officer if he can go to the restroom,
Yeah.
and the officer granted him permission to go to the restroom, where he began to throw up. Hopefully, I don't know what. I've never gotten a DUI before. I don't drink and drive.
Is that like a trick or something?
I'm assuming it's a trick that you throw up and then hopefully it messes up the breathalyzer, because the officer gave him two options: either take the breathalyzer or take the blood test.
Yeah.
He decided the breathalyzer. He asks the officer for a restroom break. He grants him the bathroom break, and he begins to throw up. I'm assuming, hoping that it messes up the breathalyzer,
Wow.
but that's the behind the story.
Yeah, I heard some stuff too about maybe he has some court dates he didn't appear to in the past. But my biggest question is it going to impact his fight with Anderson Silva? I mean, it's in January, so no.
I don't think so. I mean, you got to see how it plays out. Maybe it gets tossed out of court. So I mean, it's the same thing that you see the NFL going through. I mean,
Yeah, I was
you're
gonna say
not
that too.
guilty
Yeah.
until you go through the whole process, unless you have evident or real hard evidence, like the Ray Rice issue, where you have a video. Now the what's the name, Hardy from the Panthers, same situation, and now Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
So unless we have cold hard facts, you can't really suspend Nick Diaz until we find out more.
Albert, what do you think? Or at least suspend him for 4 months until January.
Yeah, well, the only thing I don't like is
That's true. Suspended for 4 months, but he's still good for January.
Yeah, like when they did the Matt Mitrione. Remember they suspended him? He wasn't even fighting. But anyways, Albert, go ahead.
because usually Dana White is out and he pretty much he's a judge and jury before he sees the evidence.
Okay.
And this time he actually, for some odd reason, he's all, no, we're gonna wait and see all the facts come out, and then we'll decide what the penalization will be.
Now that he brings that up,
Roger Goodell type of thing.
Well,
it's crazy. It's funny he brings that up, because now let's take a look into Thiago Silva.
Yeah, he's recently got signed back by the way.
We really didn't know what was going on, besides that there was a SWAT team.
He was already throwing the stones before it all came out, and then finally when everything came out, he was like, you know what, our bad, come back in.
Yeah.
But see, I totally get Dana White's point of view. It's like, hey, dude, Thiago Silva is inside his house with a weapon. SWAT team surrounded the house. I mean,
It just looks bad.
But we
at
didn't
that
have
point,
all the evidence.
I totally understand
Yeah.
that, but you have cold hard facts, and you're gonna say, to protect the image of the UFC, I'm gonna cut him right now and say that I don't stand for that.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna let legal process take its due course, which it did, and then now I say, okay,
Yeah,
I messed up on Thiago Silva, but I'd rather messed up suspending him than being light and then getting the blame that Roger Goodell's going through right now.
And all fair, it is easier than to suspend a fighter who's fight once or twice, 2-3 times a year. Maybe it's a guy who's out there every Sunday.
Thing, they suspended him, but really, does that really hurt him?
Yeah,
he wasn't scheduled to
So
fight.
I'm not worried. I'm not too worried. Now getting back to Nick Diaz, I'm not too worried. I think he'll still get that January fight with Anderson Silva.
It's going to happen?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
This is the first.
He's just not a Nick Diaz fan.
Also, second story I want to talk about is Tyron Woodley. I guess Dana White came out and saying that they wanted to pair up Tyron Woodley against Hector Lombard.
Yeah.
And he found every excuse in the world not to
Yeah, Tyron Woodley did.
Yeah, Tyron
And
Woodley.
he kept saying, "Oh, I don't know what's up with this kid. Like, he doesn't want to fight Tyron Woodley." He said, "No, I'm not going to fight him. Hector Lombard wants to fight."
Well, I read the article on this too.
Yeah,
So-
but then like he said, "Oh, well, we'll cut Tyron Woodley a break because he fought for us, you know."
Yeah, I
Just,
saw that on-
so what's up? I mean, what's up with Dana White's tone there? I mean, it's all right. I mean,
you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, kind of thing. That's what it sounds like. But
yeah.
it's favoritism. I don't think that should be okay.
Yeah.
The beef between Hector Lombard and Tyron Woodley is that supposedly they train together. That's what Tyron Woodley says. Hector Lombard says this guy shows up once a blue moon and he thinks he trains with the American top team.
Yeah.
I'll fight him any day of the week.
Wow.
So.
Your thoughts on Dana White's tone and the whole Tyron
Well,
Woodley?
the other thing that I just worry more about the division. Cause right now the division's very tight. I mean, literally anybody can contend for the belt. I mean, you can literally go down to the sixth opponent, sixth ranked person. And it's pretty just, yeah, and it's a good fight, and it's justable to even do that matchup. And I just think because of it is right now, it sucks that we can't start eliminating anybody. And this just extends the division even more, and it's still really trying to figure it out and construct
well,
it.
in all fairness, Johnny Hendricks is still out injured, right?
Yeah,
his bicep.
but
so it's
still,
kind of like they're just kind of on hold, isn't it?
And now, if you saw Dana White's same thing about GSP. Supposedly GSP
Oh yeah, he
now,
comes back.
now is interested in coming back, and Dana White straight said if he comes back, straight title shot.
Right
so there shouldn't even been an interim belt the way it's starting to look.
Yeah, so Tyron Woodley, I mean, he can pick his fight as of right now because he ain't getting a title shot anytime soon.
Yeah, okay, move on next to the Tough 20 debut this past weekend. All female
Fox
cast,
Sports,
strawweights, right?
The strawweights.
Team Melendez versus Team Pettis. Did you guys thoughts on the whole? Did you guys catch it? No.
Yeah, there's a couple cool things. Unlike other toughs, this time all the ladies are ranked ahead of time.
It's a bracket. It's a bracket system.
In the bracket system.
Yeah.
Well, I know Gilbert Melendez said that he didn't like it. How girls were ranked.
But it has, because the belt's on the line.
Yeah.
I think this is the only way to really do it because it justifies. The winner is the true champion.
It's not really.
The way
you're gonna fight this one kind of game plan.
See, good thing we have Albert that watches more than 20 hours of television a week.
And this is why my fantasy football team sucks. I spend too much time on MMA and not enough time in my fantasy.
Between the two, I'm glad you're choosing MMA. This is an MMA
so,
show.
but either way, but they did have an upset in the first episode. The number 13th, I think, beat the number 3.
That was the other way around. Wasn't Ticia Torres? She was ranked number 3.
Yeah, the one that lost.
Tornado. I thought she was ranked. I
she was
thought
actually
she was ranked 13.
No, she was actually one of the favorites to win the whole thing because she's coming off of wins of 2 girls that are already in the house too. So she already has 2 wins over 2 girls in the competition.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Actually, the UFC kind of spoiled themselves. They actually released the bracket already with Ticia Torres losing before the episode even aired. So they kind of spoiled.
So how's it working? It's a bracket, and if they lose, they're out.
Yeah, they're out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all these girls essentially,
one fight elimination.
But all these girls are
they're still going to train in the house.
They're gonna get a UFC contract regardless, I think.
Yeah.
And they still have another crack at the title. It's just because you need all those girls. To figure out who's the champion.
And the last one, obviously, when Benson Harrison got knocked out by Rafael dos Anjos about a month ago, kind of threw a wrench into the UFC lightweight rankings. We asked about where's Khabib Nurmagomedov. I guess he had knee surgery. Is going to recover. Expected sometime in February. He said he'll fight anybody, but he prefers to fight the champion, who the champion is. He says he prefers to fight Anthony Pettis because it's easy money. He says because Pettis doesn't have any good wrestling defense or wrestling skills. So your thought on Khabib?
I'm big on Khabib.
So can he sit out till February and get a number 1 contender or even title shot right away, or she could ease himself back in?
Well, now with Benson Henderson, it's thin to begin with now. Before we used to talk about the lightweight division being one of the strongest. Now I think it's really thinned down a little bit and cleared out a lot of the spots. So I think Nurmagomedov, especially from what I hear, no one wants to fight him. So why not just give him Anthony Pettis?
Or the winner of Gilbert Melendez, Anthony Pettis.
Yeah, the winner. Sorry, the winner of Gilbert Melendez.
I couldn't disagree with you guys more.
Who do you think deserves it?
First off, this would have been true 3 months ago, 4 months ago that he could wait out and get an instant title shot. Yeah. We have Eddie Alvarez in this division now.
Who hasn't even fought yet.
Who is going to fight against Cowboy Cerrone.
Oh, he also said he'll fight Cerrone as well, too. He'll say he'll take up Cerrone fight.
If Eddie Alvarez beats Donald Cerrone, Do you think Eddie Alvarez propels him to a title shot against the winner?
100%.
Well, in all fairness, shouldn't
technically, Gilbert Melendez is coming off of a loss, and he got a title
he
shot.
beat Diego Sanchez.
If you want to, like,
but he also lost against Benson Henderson.
If the UFC wants to be like, follow par and like be consistent, shouldn't Eddie Alvarez already be challenging for the title already?
Yeah, because
every champion that comes in shouldn't already be a number one contender. Don't they want to unify all the belts or what they say, whatever?
Yeah, that looks
just for that, I really want Donald Cerrone to win the next fight. Just
so Eddie Alvarez is going to destroy this division, and Dana White's going to eat his words because guess what? Who had Eddie Alvarez this whole time? Bellator. But supposedly they had no competition out there.
What about Michael Chandler? Is that open door for him? If Eddie Alvarez is super successful in the UFC,
I think they target Michael Chandler even harder now.
Well, only guy they're not targeting has been Askren because according to Dana White, he's a moron. But that's a different story altogether.
Moron or not, he's winning.
Yep,
and that's what matters.
True. So that's it for this segment. So stick around, guys. Got plenty more shows to come up. So stick around.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
All right, we are back. I want to talk about some UFC heavyweight division. I know we kind of talked about it Albert and I last week, but that was before the Bigfoot versus Arlovski outcome, which was, I think, edited in surprising fashion. I know, were you surprised, Guillermo, to see Arlovski get a knockout?
Yes, because everybody, not even me, everybody I asked thought that Arlovski had a glass chin, that his best days were behind him.
Yeah.
So the fact that he beat one of the top contenders in the UFC, I think shocked everybody.
Albert, over the past few years, has Arlovski become like a joke in that, like, the butt of a joke in MMA?
He was, but then he slowly started coming back. But the thing was, when he was making his first comeback, people didn't really take it seriously because he wasn't. I mean, the biggest guy he fought when he was making his first comeback was Tim Sylvia, and everyone's like, really? Like, when was he relevant?
Just a little funny story on Arlovski. So there was a point in time when Arlovski wasn't in the UFC.
Yeah, he was bouncing around.
He was bouncing around, even bouncing around World Series right before World Series of fighting. Yeah. The manager approached FiveRoundMMA, asking for if he would be willing to sponsor Arlovski on his shorts.
Money, right? On his shorts.
But the fact that he approached us when there's way bigger organizations, way bigger companies, just speaks volume to at the level that Arlovski was at.
How far he's kind of come, right?
Yeah, how far he dropped and now how much he's up again.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing that could have happened was that Anthony Rumble Johnson lost. Mm-hmm. I think after a loss, I think he really felt like, dude, I got the wins behind me, and I got one last run in me, and I think he really took advantage of his last run. And his hands has been looking very crisp after that Anthony Rumble Johnson fight. He beat Mike Kyle, Brandon Schwab. He had
Schwab.
he had decision win there. Of course, the knockout. But I think it all goes back to that Anthony Rumble Johnson loss that really kind of.
Well, you kind of touched it there. One good run. He's not 2-0 since return to the UFC. Are we looking at a serious run here, or is this kind of like, oh, he's weeding out all the pretenders now?
He's on a serious run,
but I feel first contender.
But I feel he's still gonna stick around, and I think he is in on a streak to the title, because if you look at it, he has 4 wins in a row, and he's already beat a guy that just fought Cain Velasquez
Bigfoot
a year ago. A year ago. So we're talking about someone just removed recently from a title. And how is Arlovski now has the record or beat the guy that got a shot with Cain Velasquez?
He only has a couple of fighters that could possibly be ahead of him. But all he needs is one more win to kind of surpass all of them and get that and steal that number one contendership. If JDS steps up,
anybody that beats JDS automatically gets the title.
If JDS steps up and he fights JDS, he's one win to win from a title shot.
If Joe Silva's listening and he pairs up Arlovski versus JDS, that's pretty much a number one contender fight for Arlovski.
I really think he still can sneak in through the back door.
I think you guys are leaving out your boy Stipe Miocic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I am.
What about? Could that match up? Obviously, it would be better for Stipe, right? It would be great for Arlovski to beat this guy. But then Stipe, okay, I beat Arlovski, who beat Bigfoot, gave me Cain Velasquez, right?
Yeah, well, the issue right now, JDS is hurt. He said he wants to fight in December, but that's the real question mark.
Who, though?
Ben
Rothwell
just called them out. We don't know yet. Yeah. But like you said, there's pretty much 4 right now that I can think of.
And we still, JDS. We still got Roy Nelson and Mark Hunt.
Yeah, I'll talk about. Even with that though, but you got Mark Hunt already had his title run already, lost to JDS. and Roy Nelson's always
A
on the
victory
fence.
over Roy Nelson puts him still behind Arlovski, in my opinion, and Ben Rothwell.
Well, like I told, because it's so interesting. A lot of these guys can just steal their way into the main fight. Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, there's a back door open right now. There's a lot of people that can sneak in there. I think even Roy Nelson can possibly sneak in there with avoiding a win over JDS. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, a Verdum win over Cain Velasquez opens up the whole heavyweight
the
division.
floodgates are open. You can close your eyes and pick one of these guys we just mentioned, and
but if Cain Velasquez retains versus Verdum, it's really tough to actually have the credentials to fight Cain Velasquez because you have to get through JDS.
JDS, you're eliminating Bigfoot, you're eliminating Nogueira. I mean, all these guys are kind of
like everybody talks about Gatekeeper. We have an actual, and you guys talked about it last week, a Sagat, which is JDS.
Yeah, he is right.
We have a Sagat to the Bison, which is
but the real interesting thing though is any win in this heavyweight division keeps you in title contending.
Yeah.
So as long as you're winning, I think you're.
Well, just look at Overeem just got knocked out for the third time in a row, or
and about that too. And what Dana White said, no, he's still ranked top 10. He's got a safe job. How is that? Where a guy gets knocked out 3 times in a row?
It just shows you how thin the heavyweight division is.
And it just shows you where it's at because if Bigfoot beat Overeem, who just lost, right, and then Ben Rothwell just beat Overeem, and Ben Rothwell already lost to the champion. Yeah. So that kind of shows you. And then there's still
a couple more heavyweight guys that we haven't really talked about. Like Josh Barnett.
But he got knocked out by Travis Browning, who got demolished by Fabricio Verdum. And if Fabricio Verdum loses to Cain Velasquez, it's kind of like everybody who he beat on the way top is kind of already eliminated.
let's put Arlovski versus Josh Barnett again.
So it's kind of like.
But you still, like Albert said, you can still sneak through the back door. I mean, these guys are credible guys. These are the only guys available.
So straight, I know Cain Velasquez is your favorite fighter, but is he in the weakest division in the UFC right now?
He is, and I hate to say it that these victories besides JDS is kind of hurting his legacy because JDS just. The rivalry between JDS, I think, propels him because if JDS in any other era would be the champion for a very long time.
If you really think about it, doesn't it happen this way? Once you get a dominant champion, all of a sudden there's no contenders. When before there was so much big names and stuff like that, it's just weird the way it always works out that way. Yeah. When Anderson Silva went on his long title reign, there wasn't really contenders.
It's not Cain Velasquez's fault. No, these guys are getting knocked out before they get to Cain Velasquez.
No one blames Anderson Silva of such weak competition. That's who they had.
You think it's because no matter what a heavyweight does, if it's not a title fight, we see Ben Rothwell knock out Overeem. We see what Arlovski did to Bigfoot. In the back of my mind, I think, he can't do that to Cain Velasquez. So there's no point, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of that way you're talking about maybe this dominant champion. He can't.
And I maybe would like to.
But see, Ben Rothwell has a good win and then a bad loss.
Yeah.
A good win and then a bad loss, and you can say that for every heavyweight besides Cain Velasquez. Yeah. And the one loss he did fight, he was injured fighting JDS.
He
other heavyweight.
Just to blow your mind, I really do think the best contenders for Cain Velasquez are not even in his division right now. I think John Jones, Anthony Romo Johnson, these guys that have shown that they could probably fight in heavyweight are probably the best contenders out there for him.
Well, do you think kind of like the UFC's kind of maybe like with keeping guys like Overeem, kind of like maybe just kind of holding, obviously the belt's sinking, just kind of trading water until maybe John Jones could come in and then do John Jones versus Overeem, John Jones versus Barnett, all these guys, and have him go through Velasquez, you think?
I don't know. That'd be tough for...
Because technically you still have DC and contending. Because
DC will never fight.
But let's say Cain Velasquez. No, let's say if Cain Velasquez loses and gets injured again, DC can easily just go back up. No. He never lost.
But then you're riding one guy and hoping.
No, but the other thing I was trying to say was just to get things into perspective. There's better matchups in the light heavyweight division for the heavyweights than there is in the heavyweight division.
True. That's true, but back to your point, Arlovski is in a run for the title.
Albert, we got a couple minutes left. Talk your little heart out about Bellator.
Oh yes, thank you. Finally, I can talk about Bellator real quick. Ryan Couture is back in the winning cycle. He did sign with Bellator after being released by UFC.
You guys remember my bold statement that he would never main event a UFC?
It wasn't so much of a bold statement. It's kind of a jerk comment.
Yeah, it was kind of just you being mean.
Yeah.
But anyways, he won. But let's get to the main event. Joey Beltran, when you first looked at this on paper, it was pretty laughable.
Did he win the tournament or just give him a title shot?
No, they just gave him a title shot. He literally won no tournament, and he only beat Matt Minchenko, the janitor, to actually I guess,
Vladimir.
deserved this title shot. So it on paper it was kind of like, really, Bellator, you're gonna do this?
Yeah.
But at one point, Joey Beltran looked like he was gonna be the new Bellator champion.
Kind of owned it a little bit.
Yeah, and Matt Nguyen in that spinning back fist.
Signature Newton fashion.
Landed and knocked him out cold. And real quick, World Series of Fight also took place.
Yep.
We have Marlon Morales, who's our champion.
One of the best bantamweight not in the UFC.
Yeah, best known for his wins over Miguel Ángel Torres. Kept this title. An impressive submission rear naked choke against Cody Bollinger. So
who just fought recently? He took the fight short notice, didn't he?
Yeah. But other than that, that's pretty much a recap. We had it like I said earlier in the show. There's the big. Paul Daly again, another win, second round knockout.
Yeah.
Still on the winning side. I think he has like 8 wins in his last like 9 bouts or something. I don't know. It's a ridiculous number that he's on right now. He might get that Dana White apology again, I think, and introduce back.
So a lot of action besides UFC and Brasilia last night, huh? On Saturday. So but none of them are showcasing the heavyweights, though. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, I saw no heavyweights in any of these cards.
So I think that's it for this week. You guys anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I'm talking right now to MFC, working while I'm on the podcast.
It
looks like we might get Mark Pavlich next week and Marcus Edwards, so I'm looking forward to those interviews.
Awesome. Love talking to those guys. Maximum Fighting Championship. All right, until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. That's FIVE Round MMA. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic, and always check out FiveRoundMMA.com. I want to send a big thank you to Overtime Nation for letting us contribute to the website. Please visit OvertimeNation.com to read articles, commentaries on the world of mixed martial arts, NFL, entertainment, professional wrestling, soccer, all the great stuff, and follow them on Twitter at @Overtime_Nation.
NXT Takeover.
NXT Takeover, talk about that too. And since Steven Razzo's here, let's talk about who's today's Rock and Green star of the show. Guillermo misses a week, comes back like nothing ever happened. The Rock and Green star of the show.
There's no bias in all of the trolleys, so
yeah,
I have actually a chance to win.
The Rock and Green star of the show is brought by Rock and Green Soap. Please visit rockandgreensoap.com for the full line of eco-friendly soaps and detergents, and follow them on Twitter at rockandgreensoap.com. And a big thank you to the RMA Foundation. Redemption Martial Arts is a non-profit organization committed to the anti-bullying awareness. Please visit redemptionmartialarts.com to see how you can join the movement to stop bullying, and follow them on Twitter at redemption_MA. Everyone rise up against bullying. Albert, take us away.
I'd like to thank your executive producer, Guillermo Cita, our sound engineer over there, Steven Roswell with Roswell Records. Thank you so much for letting us in his personal studio today, since a lot of things going under construction. And just thanks everybody for listening.
Cream of the crop.